Welcome everybody to KETIV Virtual Academy. My name is Tyler Hart. I'm with the marketing team involved with running these weekly training and thought leadership sessions. And today's topic is Inventor project file configurations. Your expert today is Mario Sobalvarro, an application engineer here at KETIV. If you have any questions at all during the session, please put them in the Q&A. That's where we can get to them the easiest and answer them the quickest with responses at the bottom of your screen, and we'll try to address them either during the session if it's pertinent or at the end. Also, a reminder that all of these sessions are recorded and available on ketiv.com or our YouTube channel. Also head to the homepage at ketiv.com to sign up for one of a series of in-person events around the country. We're calling it our Manufacturing Innovation Workshop, and we're bringing manufacturing leaders together to talk about business outcomes, technical challenges, and basically just have a big roundtable with people all over the country. So go sign up for that. Make sure you get a spot because spots are limited. So without further ado, I will pass things over to Mario to introduce himself and kick us off. Thanks for being here, Mario.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. So like Tyler said, today's topic is going to be Inventor project file configuration. Quick introduction. My name is Mario Sobalvarro. Application engineer here on the support side with KETIV. Been at KETIV for just under a year, longtime customer of KETIV, and come from the commercial automation side of things. 20 years experience doing electromechanical design, also some CAD admin experience utilizing Vault, PLM solutions as well. So to start it off, let's get rolling. Oh, we also have, take the QR code here for upcoming events. Like I said, every week we do have a QVA, product specialists talking on whatever the great subjects are. So today's agenda, we are going to be discussing Inventor project files and what are project files and why do we need them. We'll be looking at the default IPJ, which is your out-of-the-box IPJ. Install Inventor, open Inventor. This will be the initial project file that comes up. We will be discussing various configurations, including the type of projects that are available. There's a single user type and a Vault type. And single users, it's a misnomer, so to speak, because it is not designed to just be for a single user. That's why we included here for collaborative environments as well. And after that, we will get into a Q&A. So starting off, what are projects? Oh, doing the poll. Go ahead and initiate a poll. Some questions regarding what type of project files are you utilizing, and where you're keeping your templates and design data.
We'll give everybody just a moment to answer the question, then I'll share the results here. All right, are you able to see the results, Mario? Looks like we have about, yep.
Okay, so for the what type of project files, looks like we got 38% using single user and about 63% using Vault. And with regards to where it's storing templates and design data, 33% are showing in the Vault, 42% in a network share drive, and 21% on a local workstation. Okay, so we will get into those use cases here. So we'll start off with what are Inventor projects and why do we need them? So Inventor parametric modeling, when it came about, had different style with the file management. As opposed to AutoCAD, you were just dealing with a single DWG folder now, or file. Now we're dealing with IPTs, parts, assemblies, drawings, all the relationships that go along with them. There's also CAD resources that to take into account, style libraries, material appearances. We're also going to be controlling the workspaces where these files are all located, and also location for templates, design data, content center files, things of that nature. So to get started, we'll go with the here configuration. Let's see here with the types of projects that we have. So we have the single user and we have the vault. So jumping into Inventor, let's take a look at the first one that is out of the box, which is our display project. So our default project file. So our default project file does not have a workspace, so it allows you to look anywhere on your C drive or anywhere basically, and to save anything anywhere. The issue with this though is if you were to move a file, it would break the connections. It would not know where to look. Also, assemblies would need to have their children files in the same folder. They wouldn't be allowed to go into other folders because it wouldn't know which paths to look for. So this is what you'll find directly coming out of the box. Next type of project is going to be, typical use case is a single user project. So when you go to create a new project, you'll see that you have the choice for a single user or the vault. Under the single user, let's see, go ahead and create a car seat project here. So we need to check out and see where the workspace for these folders are at. So in this case, I'm going to be going into car seat here. That's going to be our location, and it's going to create a project file in that same location. As far as libraries go, there's a library that I have in the Vault, but I'm not interested in utilizing that because this is a non-vaulted project. So now we've created the car seat project. Now, in addition to that, I have CAD resources that are located. Let's see here. In a projects folder in the local drive. For example, templates, design data, content center files. And this is getting into the areas of a master project, so to speak. So within here, let's see, under the projects folder, I have the car seat. So I want to be able to access these CAD resources. So in order to do that, we have the option to come in and edit this project here. Let's see, there we go, and include file. So we're going to edit this, and looks like it already is selecting the master project IPJ, which is the one that I want. And what that will do now is under folder options, it's going to direct my templates, design data, and content center files to be looked at in that location. Back one. Go ahead and hit yes on this. The one that I had created previously is going to be this fishing rod project file here, I wanted to show all the options and kind of go through everything that is inside of the project folder. So this is a single user. Like I said, it's not necessarily for a single person to only use. However, if you are in a situation where you're the only user, you can have everything in your local drive and not have any issues. Outside of that single use scenario, we'd be getting into collaborative use scenarios where most of the time the data would be saved to a network or a shared drive. And in this case, we're looking at this fishing rod project. We have the master project that I talked about. And all the master project is instructions as to where I have the CAD resources. It does not have a workspace. And these libraries are project specific. Let's see what we also added in here. Within the master project, well, we also added a search path for something that is way outside of the project folder here. This is something outside in the C drive, and I'll show what that looks like. So again, master projects mainly for sharing of the CAD resources and being able to nest that into another project. So going back to the fishing rod project here. All right, going down the list. So we've included the master project file, which takes care of our folder options. We'll discuss that in a bit. Next is the style library. So this is going to be appearance libraries, material libraries, balloon styles, parts tables. All of that is stored in a style library that is within the design data. And typically it's in a read-only state, but you can edit this and put it into a read and write state. Next, we come in here, the appearance libraries. The ones to note is that the Autodesk libraries are stored in a common location. Inventor libraries, those actually follow within the design data. You'll notice that the location here is similar to our design data location down here. The one that is highlighted is the one that will default when you're creating parts, both on the appearance and material libraries. Example of that would be, if I go ahead and highlight Autodesk Material Library and go to open this fishing rod. If I were to open a specific, say, part within here, this one. So if I go to appearances, Autodesk Material Library will be my default. If Inventor Material Library was highlighted, then that would be our default there. Next up, we have the workspace. So the workspace is this area here that I've created. So typically in a single user project, it'll put it to my documents. For single user, it'll put into the My Documents area. If you're being collaborative with multiple users, you're going to want to have that on a network drive. In this case, I have the master project, which is utilizing all of this information here, well, the CAD resources. Within that, we have the fishing rod folder in which the fishing rod project resides. And within here are all the data files for that. Next, we have the workgroup search path. So this is just showing that which is coming from the master project. So what this does is if I go to open a file, it will give me this option of this path that is, like I said, a C drive path that's outside of the workspace, and it'll allow me to grab files from there. Libraries, we're not utilizing any libraries. If you did have libraries that say vendor content, you could utilize that, create folders, which would be read-only folders or read-only data, and accessible in the same way that we kind of how we did the search pad there. Frequently used subfolders is one that I like to use a lot. Both in this case, the fishing rod, if I'm going to be doing a lot of work on the main drive gear, instead of having to dig down and go into various folders, I have frequently used subfolders here, so I can quickly, just from the workspace, select that I want to go to the main drive gear. Probably a better example would be one with, you had a folders, 2 or 3 folders down, you have project by year and then model numbers, and you're going to be working on that model all the time, but you're within the workspace of a top layer project. Next, we get to the folder option. So for folder options, I'm going to go here to the master project. In folder options, this is probably one of the most important areas, I think, of the project file. It is calling out where templates are located. Again, design data, which is material, appearance libraries, hole tables, clearance hole tables, thread tables. There's a lot that goes into the design data area. And just to show a bit of what normally is in design data, we have vent tables, files for cable and harness, design accelerators, symbol libraries, XLL files, like I said, are your thread tables, your clearance hole tables. And by default, they will go to this location here, see users, public documents, Autodesk Inventor, whichever version you're on, and then design data. Outside of a single user environment, these design data folder is recommended to be either in a shared drive or in a Vault project. Otherwise, you'll have people generating, just accessing files from design data that are not common, and that can create issues in the future. Presets, that falls into if you're making a hole in a part, and let's say you have a half-inch clearance hole with a counter bore, and it's something that you utilize a lot. At that point, you can actually save that as a preset, and it will save it into a preset folder. And if you wanted to have that type of hole call out available quickly, because it's used a lot, again, you would want to have this in a shared location, either Vault or in a shared drive folder, so that everybody could utilize that. Next, we get to content center files. So Inventor has a content center library, which is the library aspect of it is what generates your files for your fasteners, for structural shapes, used in frame generator. And content center file, this location here is where those files that are generated are stored. So this is another one. If this is maintained in the local environment for all the users, you're going to have one user generating a specific type of fastener, and having that in their assembly. And when the other person tries to open it up, it's not going to find that unless they have already generated that particular fastener. It'll throw up an error asking where that file is. So content center file is another one that should be in a shared drive. And we'll get to the vaulted aspect of that shortly after. Going into the final options here, these are more system-based options. Old versions to keep on save. So whenever you're creating content, there's always this old versions folder here. And basically that's just saying how many iterations of the old version to keep. Currently it's set at 1, so you'll always have the main version and the last version located in the old version folder here. Shows -1 to keep all versions. I wouldn't recommend that because that'll fill up your folder very quickly. Using unique file names. So yes, we don't want to have two parts with the same file name. That can create issues, especially if they're within the folder. So this kind of maintains some type of control here. You also have functionality here to find duplicate files to remedy that if you're bringing legacy data that is the same. Next items here is the name of the project and the shortcut. So on that point, everything that's seen here is actually a shortcut. When you go to, in other words, if these were to be deleted, it's not actually deleting the file itself, it's just deleting a visual instance of the file. And all of these shortcuts are kept, recall. Well, the initial out-of-the-box shortcuts are located in the default location here, which is default for your, we call it the project files themselves, your design data, templates, all of that is in that location. Go up a bit here. There we go. So this is the actual shortcut location. So it's always going to send this to, in this case, they're all in the My Documents folder and Inventor and Projects. So if you were to delete one of those, you could come in here and double click and that would repopulate. The actual projects themselves, for example, this is the shortcut for car seat. The actual project for car seat lies within the workspace as shown here. And that's typically how that should be set up. Let's see. And these two are, again, system related. If you wanted to specify an owner for the project file and maintain some type of release ID version for the project file, if you're not in a vaulted environment, you can maintain version history, I guess, with that. So that kind of talks on the single users. Just gonna look at one of the questions here. Setting that to 0 if you are using data management in OK idea. So I think we're talking about the old versions here.
I'm
yes.
that one, Mario. I'm testing something before I answer that one, so I got it.
Okay. Got it. All right. So now go ahead and go to Vault projects. Vault projects, for those users utilizing Vault, a lot of the same takes place there. There's new functionality now in 2024 that allows for mapping of design data and templates. Content center files, if you're using Vault, it's recommended that you use the Vault Content Center, and how you go about that is going to Tools, Application Options. And on the Content Center tab, you want to make sure that Autodesk Vault Server is selected. Come across a couple of upgrades where people upgrade Inventor Vault or something happens in the project file and they're unable to access the Content Center that they were able to access prior. A lot of the times it's that it's set to Inventor Desktop Content as opposed to the Vault server here. So if something got reset or didn't carry over properly in that upgrade itself. Here. So when creating a Vault project, again, you're going to go with the new, select the new Vault project file here. Within the Vault project, specify the name. Let's see here. And in this case, I would want to add my library. These are, I think I have some McMaster parts in this particular library, so I want to include that because I want to be able to see and use those parts, even though they're outside of the workspace. We're going to cancel here because this one already applies in that way. That's the library there. Now, the other aspect of this here is, like I was mentioning, I have a vendor library working with the master car parts, and I want to, let's say, modify something changed on there because my Vault project is, the workspace is outside of this area here, is within the engineering here. I created a library maintenance project. And this project is also a Vault project. Cancel that now. Only difference on this particular Vault project is that the workspace is set to the library area and allows for that library to be modified, basically. Some other aspects within the Vault project that are important is the mapping that needs to take place. So here in this drop-down area, you want to make sure that content center files are mapped where those are going to be located in your Vault. Any library files, your project root. And now we can actually take advantage of this new functionality, like I said. Here. We have those in Inventor. So now this allows me to map template folder and my design data folder within the Vault. So if any changes are made to templates or library data, it'll automatically get pushed to the new users upon the user starting Inventor for the first time, or in this case, switching between the projects will also initiate that. And you see the download here. So it's looking at the files, and as you can see, it's a lot faster than it was before. I think there's some new enhancements in 2024.1 that make that a lot quicker. Okay. That pretty much talks on the configuration aspects. Kind of an overall review here. So spoke on what project files are, why we need them, mainly for file management purposes. Out of the box project file, pretty much an all-encompassing, but not desirable for production workflow or for multi-user. Pretty much just to get you started. It's what I say the default IPJ is mainly for. Spoke on configurations, talking about single user in a true single user environment where it's okay to have certain items localized to a single workstation versus single user projects or non-vaulted project in a collaborative environment where there are certain aspects, like we discussed, design data, templates, content center files, where we would want to have that in a shared drive of sorts. And then finally the vault, which is a vaulted instance. Here. Also wanted to touch on resources. We do have a CAD admin learning path in a new KETIV learning program. Something I definitely recommend to check out. These are continuous learning, and it's designed with your goals in mind, so to speak. There's various learning paths that can be created. We have a training advisor that would sit down and look and see what areas are you looking to expand your knowledge in. Are you looking to do Vault administration work or CAD administration work, in which the project file would definitely fall into CAD admin side of things, looking to enhance your skills as a Inventor user, perhaps in cable and harness or sheet metal or various aspects. Or if you're self-taught, we have the essentials class that kind of shows best practices for moving forward with that. And now I will go ahead and take some questions here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we had the question with regard to setting that version to 0. Do we get an answer on that, Nicole?
Yeah, I posted that as
Okay.
well. So
Okay.
the question was, can you set the old versions to 0? And you can, but it will still generate that folder. It just will be empty. So there's some benefits to having the old versions if you're not using Vault. And even if you are using Vault, some people will do like an R&D project and they won't be, you know, Vault checks, when you check in, check out, it saves those versions, right? But if you're just working on your hard drive and you're not checking in regularly, you could potentially crash and lose work or something like that, right? So those old versions, you know, every time you save, will keep a version. But as Mario said, you don't want to keep all, because that can get, you know, really cloudy and your hard drive can fill up really quick. But they won't get checked in when you check in the project. Like when you do a check-in of a assembly, the old versions are ignored because they're not technically in the path. They're not technically in the project structure. So they shouldn't cloud your vault, but they are nice to have as backup. So play with them a little bit and figure out what works best for you, and let us know if you have questions on that. Does that help, Scott? I think, Scott, that was your question. The other Scott. We had a lot of Scotts. It's a Scott heavy day today. Thanks, Scott. Anything else?
Yes, thank you. All right.
Excellent, Mario. Some great stuff there. We haven't seen in a while, so thank you for doing this.
Sure.
Yes, Mario, thank you so much for being here. This will be posted on YouTube as well as ketiv.com if anybody wants to share it with anybody. And also a reminder, if you're in a major city or close to a major city around the United States, we have that Traveling Manufacturing Innovation Workshop. Go to ketiv.com and check out those locations. Not just California, we have Dallas, Denver, Chicago, Portland. We're all over the country in the coming months. So go check that out and we can meet up in person. So Mario, thank you again for your time today, and we will look forward to having you back. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. Have a good one.